Hey everyone, High Flyer Tacti back with a new video again today. On today's video, we got new leaks to discuss. Now, I want to talk about, before we start these, that this isn't from like Psyoc or anything, but from a news source. I will not disclose their name. I don't want to get out there like who they are and accidentally ruin anything for them. Um, so I'm not going to mention anything like detail-wise on who they are, but to let you know who they are the person who posted that MG image earlier from the video earlier if you saw. So they used that to prove their trustworthiness, and Methlo has vouched for him, said that he does have an actual clip from the movie. It seems very legit, and there's a lot of detailed stuff that why we might not have overall it all seems pretty legit. So yeah, like I said, he's the one with the MG information, like the MG image we got. Now, he's given a ton of info in the movie. Now, I am not going to give all that info right now because some of it is massive spoilers that I really don't think I should be spoiling this early for you guys. If people find that on their own, that's their problem. But I think the MG details are interesting. So I think for people who want leaks, this is pretty important to hear because, especially like in my Discord and even myself, when I heard one of these details, I was livid. I was raging about this when I first heard it. But now that I've cooled down and thought about it rationally, I'm going to talk about it, and I think I'm going to defend it. But we'll get on to that. I'm going to try to save that specific thing for last. So, yeah. So let's go on ahead and get into all the different MG information, some of the other information he gave. Now, I don't have it pulled up, but I believe he did mention that the shot of Godzilla shooting into the hull or shooting at the ground that we see in the new trailer, it's not him shooting into the ground. He's actually shooting through the earth into the Hollow Earth to hit Kong or to like aim for Kong, who basically is getting the axe and he senses it, so he tries to shoot through the earth to hit Kong, which he ends up missing. Um, and that actually becomes a convenient way for Kong and them to make it to Hong Kong. This is the hole he made. So yeah, Godzilla blasts a hole through the earth basically into the Hollow Earth, which is a pretty crazy feat. I can't wait to see how that gets calced. Which, like I said, this dude seems pretty trustworthy. So that's just one thing I wanted to mention real quick. He said, I'm not reading it off anything, but that's just something that I thought would be cool to mention. On to the MG stuff. So right here, he kind of talks about the plot and stuff, so I'm going to mention all the plot, nothing too major here, but he also does mention MG. So first up, he said, the whole plot revolves around them needing something to stop Godzilla since they think he's gone rogue. Their plan is to have Kong lead them to the Hollow Earth because they think his natural instincts will lead him there. The plan goes wrong because it was commissioned by the people trying to create MG, and they used the technology found in the Hollow Earth to create MG. Very interesting. So yes, MG is indeed created via Hollow Earth technology. Now, you guys might be like, what? The Hollow Earth is yes, the Hollow Earth has technology. We know this because if you look in the trailers, for example, the room where Kong's in is so futuristic and stuff. There's massive pillars with glowing neon lights and stuff. It's pretty apparent, though, that the Hollow Earth does have a lot of tech. So they're going to use that tech to build MG. He gives some more details about MG's creation later on, we'll get into. Next, someone asked kind of what the axe is made out of. He said some sort of technology from the Hollow Earth, but explains that it's never really explained in the movie. Basically, the axe's origins isn't really explained. It's just kind of there. He said that no one's piloting Mechagodzilla. He said it goes haywire with a mind of its own. You could argue it's being piloted by the DNA from Mechagodora. From Ghidorah's skull, I suppose. And then going on now, he says he's talking about the line, we need Kong, the world needs him. God, that line. Someone asked about the skull crawlers and stuff. He says that line is in response that they need Kong to show them the way to the whole Earth to see if they can find something there to stop Godzilla. Skull crawlers are used as bait for Mechagodzilla. Since it's the middle of the Earth, at one point the gravity flips and is dangerous on the voyage. So some little details there. So Kong needs to go to the Hollow Earth so they can find something to stop Godzilla. Kong himself is not being used to stop Godzilla. He's just being used as a tool to find something to stop Godzilla. Skull crawlers are bait for Mechagodzilla. And the Hollow Earth basically has its gravity like flipped, which is very interesting. Uh, so it probably makes his Kong's fall we saw on the one TV spot not as impressive. Now, this next one, I'm not going to read just yet. I'm going to save it for the end. It's a big controversial one, so we'll save that for later, guys. It's pretty controversial. Oh my god! So just wait. That'll be the last one we read. Someone asked if Ghidorah's still alive. No, he's definitely dead. They use Ghidorah's skull to extract his DNA to use his mind control to connect a person to Mechagodzilla to control him. It goes haywire. Mechagodzilla gets a mind of his own and attacks the city. They don't say it, but it could be interpreted that it's Ghidorah's mind that's partially causes it to go haywire. So this is pretty interesting here because they say something about Ghidorah's skull. Like Ghidorah's DNA is able to control someone's mind, which that's never stated in King of the Monsters, which that's pretty nuts. Um, Definitely interested to see that. And also, someone asked if Behemoth is going to be back in the movie, and his response is no. Um, Next up, someone asked what kind of weapons he has and stuff. What's his artillery? He says it says that he shoots rockets out of his forearms. He has his own version of the atomic breath. He turns his hand into a drill at one point, so basically Kiryu. He has jetpacks on his elbows and shoulders so he can get a boost on his punches. He uses them to make quick moves and keep his balance. So basically, just like Pacific Rim, he'll have rockets on him to help him kind of like throw quicker punches and stuff, more effective, stronger punches, which is something I theorized a while ago, and I am glad they're actually doing it. I think it's a cool little gimmick thing that I think fits well in this movie. Someone asked if he can fly. He said, I think he levitates at one point, but he never really flies. So there you guys go. He might levitate in the movie, but he's never really shown flying, so we don't necessarily know if he can fly. Although if he can levitate, there's a pretty good chance I would assume he can fly. Uh, okay, so next up, someone asked this spoiler, which I can't read yet, but basically talking about Mechagodzilla. He says Mechagodzilla wipes the floor with both of them, referring to Kong and Godzilla, when he fights them separately. They have a chance together, and with the axe. He calls it a hammer for some reason. So according to this, basically, 1v1, Godzilla and Kong stand no chance against Godzilla. Together, they do have somewhat a chance. Together with the axe, specifically. He mentions with the axe. So if Kong didn't have the axe, there's a chance they wouldn't. They said with the axe and working together, they might be able to beat him. Alright. Going on here, he gives some more plot information, some human stuff too. He says Team Godzilla is definitely the B story and basically there for comic relief and to reveal information on the bad guys and Mechagodzilla. Godzilla never interacts with them or any other humans. Team Godzilla is more interesting because Kong is actually with them the whole time and it's the main plot. So, very fascinating stuff. Basically, the Godzilla side of the story, Godzilla never interacts with humans. He has nothing to do with them, while Kong is connected to them the whole time. But the Godzilla side of the story is used to explain MG and stuff, so that's where we'll be getting all of our information about him. So, nice. Alright, so going on now, he was asked if Kong and Godzilla were weakened when they fought MG. What's he think? How's that work? He says he thinks they were weakened. He shows up right after they finish, basically. So while he's not 100% either of them are weakened, because there's a chance that Godzilla is going to be able to regenerate really well in this movie. He says there's a chance. He says in his opinion he would think they're weakened. So it's going to be interesting how that works. I bet that's going to be interesting for debates because that's going to be iffy. So he was asked some details about the fight. He said the fight lasts a little while between him and Godzilla, but Godzilla doesn't really ever have the upper hand. So in a 1v1, Godzilla never gets the upper hand on Mechagodzilla. Mechagodzilla's wiping him the whole time. He says then when they team up against him, they get the upper hand. But he ends up eliminating Godzilla, then is about to kill Kong. Now, I can't read the next part of this fight just yet. I'll read it soon, but it's the big controversial stuff that I just can't read yet because I'm telling you guys, it gets pretty controversial. So one last quick check. And alright, so the big secret controversial thing he says that people aren't very happy about. Alright, so he says this twice too, just so you guys know. Basically, as he's about to kill Kong, uh, as he's getting ready to kill Kong, Julian Dennison, you guys know Julian Dennison, the kid from Deadpool 2? Julian Dennison pours alcohol on Mechagodzilla's control panel, and basically that slows Mechagodzilla down, makes it hard for him to fight, nerfs him essentially, like basically makes him extremely weak, extremely vulnerable, and Godzilla and Kong take advantage of this. Godzilla shoots the axe with his atomic breath, charges it up, and Kong destroys Mechagodzilla. It sounds like, well, I don't remember if he ever actually says Kong destroys Mechagodzilla with the axe, but basically they land a massive hit with the axe while Mechagodzilla is basically vulnerable and can't fight back. And reading the other one now that I said I couldn't read earlier, he says also the kid from Hunt of the Wilder People spills alcohol in the main computer to slow down MG, which is probably my least favorite part of the movie. So, yeah, right here, he says, here, I don't think I read this whole question. He says, no, Godzilla fights him alone, then they fight him together, and after Godzilla's defeated, Kong's about to lose too, but Godzilla blasts the hammer with atomic breath to charge it up, and Kong uses the charged up hammer to defeat him. So basically, Kong with the charged up axe, with Godzilla's energy, we don't know if it's like a spiral ray or anything. He does say, I believe earlier in this, that Godzilla doesn't have like a spiral ray or anything, so it's likely just a base atomic breath, which kind of weird. But with Kong's axe overcharged, basically it will defeat Mechagodzilla. We don't know if it destroys him completely or if it just takes him out. It's not specified. I would assume it blows him up, but we don't know. And I also don't have the quote pulled up for some reason where he says that Mechagodzilla is made out of hollow earth materials. But yes, Mechagodzilla is made out of hollow earth materials, some sort of hollow earth metal, which is way stronger than any metal known to man. So, real quick, before we even get on to that really controversial stuff, so how do you guys feel about this? They might be weakened, but either way, they stand zero chance against Godzilla, or they stand zero chance 1v1, and basically even in the 2v1, they almost lose. Godzilla gets what I assume is knocked out during it, and Kong is basically about to be murdered. So MG sounds pretty powerful. Again, though, if they're weakened, it's iffy. We might need more expanded lore. Like, we might need the novelization to help give us more information on how weakened or how, exactly what the issue is. Because in the Monsterverse, it is canon that Rage and Titans can actually make them fight even heavily wounded max potential. For example, Kong Skull Island novel, he was heavily wounded, which we see in the movie, but he was fighting at his full strength thanks to the fact that he had Rage on his side. So I'm curious if that will be explained in the novel. But yes, a charged axe, and I can't. Some people might automatically be like, "Oh my god, Godzilla can take a charged axe, but Mechagodzilla can't." I can't talk about the GVK fight right now, but you guys, if you guys know about that, you would understand a bit more why the axe blowing up be able to defeat Mechagodzilla probably. But again, we need more detail on it. Plus, Mechagodzilla is vulnerable and heavily nerfed by this point. He's hurt, he's completely slowed down, etc. So if you're still here, let's talk about the alcohol situation, the big theme of the movie to teach kids not to drink. So basically, the Scooby Gang comes in, pours alcohol on MG. I'm going to say real quick, it doesn't really make sense to me because apparently Mechagodzilla is fighting via his own will. No one's controlling him. So I don't get exactly. It's not like it's an AI. It's like it goes haywire, apparently. So I don't necessarily get why exactly pouring alcohol on its main control panel that's not even in use would affect him. That just doesn't seem to make sense to me. I would think it'd be the opposite, where you could pour alcohol and it wouldn't do anything because Mechagodzilla is not being controlled. He's doing everything via his own will and power. So why exactly does just hurting his main control panel do literally anything to him? But people are freaking out because this is happening, and I was one of those people at first. I was very pissed. I was like, this better not happen. But after hearing more about it, MG is going to be presented as a beast in this movie. Apparently, he's absolutely going to stomp Godzilla and Kong basically on his own. Again, they might be weakened. We don't know all the details, but it sounds like even in a 2v1, he basically is equals to them, even 2v1, just they have a slight upper hand with the axe and stuff. He doesn't specify why that is. I ended up preferring this because I would rather Godzilla and Kong, if they are weakened, need help from humans to take out MG than them weakened being able to destroy MG on their own. This just makes MG look all the more powerful in terms of, like, how do I want to say it? Like, basically, on his own accord, how powerful he is. Yeah, the only way he could be defeated by them is if he has help. Now, again, we have to see the movie. Who knows? Maybe if Godzilla and Kong are at full power, it'd be a different story. But for now, just assuming that they're weakened to some extent, not knowing the full extent, just say they're semi-weakened, since they can fight pretty on par on like crazy stuff for hours. With this, because Mechagodzilla comes out essentially, it makes sense, and I'm glad they went the route of the humans, Millie and them, actually having to do something to save Godzilla and Kong. I think it would have been more disappointing if Godzilla and Kong were able to just solo him, basically, or like Godzilla could like beat him on his own, especially again if they're weakened. But it sounds like they do in fact need some sort of help, something, anything, and they get it. Julian Dennison basically nerfs Mechagodzilla and damages him greatly, which is able to give Kong the opportunity to just blow him up. Now, it doesn't weaken Mechagodzilla's durability, I would assume. It just makes it so his controls and stuff, he can't really fight back. He just kind of has to take it. But it's interesting because if he was by his own defense, could he defend himself? Would he be able to take it? But, I mean, it sounds like he was about to kill Kong Godzilla, so... I mean, what do you guys think? A lot of people are complaining about this. Again, I first was very upset, but now knowing the fact that they almost died to him and they need help and stuff, I think I prefer this. I think I'd rather have this be the outcome where Godzilla and Kong need human assistance, and especially if they're weakened, But what do you guys think? Yeah, it's been pretty controversial since that came out. There's some pretty controversial stuff about this movie. I will get onto it in future videos. I don't want to reveal it just yet. Like, I don't want to be the one that talks about it because some of it is pretty crazy spoilers that I don't think need to be spread too much yet. I think this one's fine because it's just Mechagodzilla, But I'm just saying, though. What do you guys think? Do you guys think this is controversial? Do you guys agree with me? Again, at first I was really mad. I thought this was the stupidest scene ever, and apparently it's a horrible scene according to the guy. But would you guys prefer Godzilla and Kong, like, if they're weakened, just like stomp Mechagodzilla on their own? Or would you prefer him to be so powerful that they need human help? In fact, if I recall, in the original Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla and Terror of Mechagodzilla, Godzilla needed help from the humans each time. I mean, even whenever him and King Caesar were fighting Mechagodzilla at full power, they needed help. So, how do you guys feel about this, though? Please let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to see the image that he posted earlier as proof of his reliability, it'll be on my previous video. You can go check it out. Let me know your thoughts there. I believe it firmly. I think it's pretty legit. But, again, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. Tell me if you guys think this is controversial or should be. As always, though, peace out and bye-bye.